The living room was immersed in a tense silence, interrupted only by the ticking of the old clock on the wall. Sitting on the brown leather sofa, the father, a man with a severe expression and piercing eyes, stared at his son with a mixture of disappointment and determination. The young man, shoulders hunched and eyes fixed on the floor, felt the weight of his father's expectations and frustration. "You need to learn to be responsible, to appreciate what you have," the father said, his firm voice echoing through the room. He stood up, crossing his arms, and continued, "You are going to marry a beggar, someone who has nothing, to understand the value of life and people." The shock in the son's eyes was evident, and he opened his mouth to protest, but his father's unyielding expression silenced him. The father walked away, leaving the son alone with his tumultuous thoughts. The decision seemed cruel, but the father believed he was doing what was best to shape his son's character. Little did he know that this seemingly harsh punishment would be the catalyst for a profound and unexpected transformation. The sun was setting as the young man approached the town square, a place where the shadows lengthened and life seemed to slow down. He held in his hands a crumpled piece of paper with the address where he would meet the woman his father had chosen. Each step he took was heavy, as if he were walking towards an inevitable destiny. Finally, he saw her sitting on a worn wooden bench with a small bag of belongings by her side. She looked frail, but her eyes shone with an unexpected intensity. With a mixture of hesitation and curiosity, the young man approached the woman. She looked him directly in the eyes with no trace of fear or submission, only a calm acceptance. "You must be the son of the man who wants me to marry you," she said, her voice soft yet firm. The young man swallowed hard, surprised by her candor. "Yes, that's me," he replied, unsure of how to continue. He had expected to meet someone beaten down by life, but the woman before him radiated a dignity that unsettled him. In the minutes that followed, he listened attentively as she told her story. Her name was Anna, and her life had been full of unimaginable challenges. She had lost her family in an accident and, without support, ended up on the streets. Even so, she had maintained hope and kindness in her heart. As she spoke, the young man began to realize that there was much more to this woman than he could have ever imagined. Each of her words was a lesson in resilience and inner strength. The young man felt a subtle change within himself. The disdain he had initially felt gave way to deep admiration. He found himself wanting to know more about Anna, to understand the strength that had kept her standing despite everything. "You have a courage I have never known," he said, feeling small in the face of her greatness. Anna smiled slightly, a smile that carried the wisdom of someone who had seen the worst in life and still chosen hope. As they parted that night, the young man knew something had changed forever. He would return home with a new perspective, determined to get to know Anna better and perhaps learn from her the true meaning of strength and dignity. As he walked back, he felt less like a boy being punished and more like someone about to discover a new and important part of himself. His father's punishment was beginning to reveal itself as a blessing in disguise, and he couldn't wait to see where this journey would take him. Days turned into weeks, and the forced coexistence between the young man and Anna began to evolve unexpectedly. The young man, who initially saw the situation as a punishment, began to look forward to his conversations with Anna. They regularly met in the same square, where the simplicity of the environment contrasted with the depth of the stories she shared. Anna was not just a survivor, she was a source of wisdom and resilience, something the young man had never encountered in his privileged world. One afternoon, as the sun gilded the leaves of the trees, Anna revealed a secret that left him speechless. "Before all this, I was a teacher," she said, her eyes lighting up with the memory. "I taught underprivileged children in a small community school." The young man was impressed. It was hard to imagine how someone so dedicated and altruistic had ended up on the street. "Do you still hope to teach again?" he asked, genuinely interested. Anna sighed, looking at the horizon. "I hope so. Life has strange ways of surprising us. Maybe one day I will return to the classroom." Her words echoed in the young man's mind, and he began to realize he had an opportunity in his hands. He decided he would do something to help Anna reclaim her place in the world, not out of obligation, but because he felt it was the right thing to do. For the first time, he wanted to repay the kindness she had shown him. On a rainy afternoon, the young man found her sheltering under the awning of a closed shop. He brought a cardboard box, which he handed to Anna with a smile. "This is for you," he said, eager to see her reaction. Inside the box were textbooks, notebooks, and school supplies. Anna opened the box slowly, and when she saw the contents, her eyes filled with tears. "I don't know what to say," she murmured, touched by the unexpected generosity. "This is more than I could have ever dreamed." The young man smiled, feeling genuine joy for the first time in a long while. "You have taught me so much, Anna. Now it's my turn to help you achieve your dreams." The bond between them grew even stronger, and the young man realized that by helping Anna, he was becoming a better person. He returned home every night with a lighter heart, eager to share his discoveries with his father. The punishment had turned into a life lesson, and he was ready to show his father how much he had changed. It was a sunny morning when the young man received an urgent phone call from his father. There was a serious problem at the family business, and he needed immediate help. Without hesitation, the young man headed to the office, where he found his father and the executives in the midst of a financial crisis. The atmosphere was tense, and the father looked at him with a mixture of worry and hope. "We need to find a quick solution," said the father, his voice grave. While everyone was frantically discussing, the young man, now more confident and mature, proposed a bold idea. "What if we use part of the company's funds for a social project? We can revitalize our brand's image and at the same time help the community." The executives were skeptical, but the father, noticing the change in his son, decided to give him a chance. "All right," he said, "show us your plan." The young man worked tirelessly over the following days with Anna by his side, helping structure the project. She shared her experiences and suggestions while he applied his business knowledge. The partnership between them flourished, and the young man learned to value Anna's practical intelligence and unique perspective. Together, they created a project that not only promised to save the company, but also benefit hundreds of needy people in the community. On the day of the presentation, the young man was nervous, but Anna encouraged him with a confident smile. "You can do it," she said softly. In front of the board of directors, he presented the plan with clarity and passion. He showed how the social project could bring tangible benefits both to the company and to society. The positive impact would be immense, and the company would restore its public image. When he finished, the room was silent, but not for long. The executives gave a standing ovation, and the father, with tears in his eyes, hugged his son with pride. "You have really changed," he said, emotional. The young man looked at Anna, who was discreetly watching from afar, and smiled. He knew that transformation was only possible thanks to her influence. The test of character was complete, and the young man not only saved the company, but also found a greater purpose in his life. Now he was determined to continue working alongside Anna, helping others and creating a better future for all. The golden autumn leaves were falling slowly as the young man and Anna walked side by side through the park, reflecting on the past few months. The journey that had begun as a punishment had transformed into an adventure of growth and discovery. The young man, now a wiser and more compassionate person, looked at Anna with gratitude. "I never imagined I would learn so much from this experience," he said, his voice filled with sincerity. Anna smiled, her eyes shining with a mix of joy and hope. "And I never imagined I would find someone willing to listen to me and help me start over," she replied. They stopped in front of a bench where they often sat to talk. They sat down, and the young man pulled an envelope from his pocket. "I have something for you," he said, handing her the envelope. Anna opened it and found a letter of acceptance for a teaching position at a community school. Tears filled Anna's eyes. "You did this for me?" she asked, moved. "Yes," he replied. "You deserve this chance to start over and do what you love." Anna hugged him tightly, feeling a wave of gratitude and happiness. She knew this was the beginning of a new life, not just for her, but for both of them. The young man was also ready for a new chapter, more mature and aware of his role in the world. On the day of the company's social project inauguration, the community gathered to celebrate the initiative. The young man stood on the stage alongside his father and Anna. He gave an emotional speech, thanking everyone for their support and emphasizing the importance of helping others. "Today we are not just saving our company, but also building a better future for all of us," he said, receiving warm applause from the crowd. After the event, the father approached his son with a proud smile. "You have exceeded all my expectations," he said. "I never imagined that punishment would result in something so positive." The young man smiled and looked at Anna, who was animatedly talking with some local residents. "Neither did I, father, but I'm glad things happened the way they did." The father placed his hand on the son's shoulder. "You have become a true man, and I am proud of you." The young man, now with a new purpose and a deeper understanding of what truly mattered in life, felt finally complete. He knew that, with Anna by his side, they could face any challenge and continue to make a difference in people's lives. And so, what began as a punishment turned into a story of love, redemption, and transformation, proving that sometimes the hardest lessons are the ones that make us the most noble. The night was cold and rainy when the young man received an urgent call from one of the company's employees. There was a critical problem in one of the social projects they were developing, and he needed to go there immediately. He called Anna, who promptly offered to accompany him. Together, they ran through the wet streets to the community center, where they found a scene of chaos. A burst pipe had flooded the place, threatening to destroy all their hard work. With determination and calm, the young man took command, directing employees and volunteers to minimize the damage. Anna, at his side, showed surprising strength, organizing the cleanup and rescue efforts efficiently. They worked tirelessly, side by side, without thinking about the exhaustion or the cold. The connection between them had never been so palpable. They were a team united by a greater purpose, facing adversity together. During the early morning hours, as the chaos began to subside, the young man realized they needed a permanent solution to prevent this from happening again. "Anna, we need a plan to improve this place's infrastructure. We can't let our work be destroyed like this," he said, his voice firm. Anna agreed, her eyes shining with determination. "Let's do it. We'll make sure this never happens again." In the following weeks, the young man and Anna dedicated themselves to renovating the community center, implementing structural improvements, and reinforcing safety measures. The community, touched by their commitment and dedication, united to help. The teamwork was inspiring, and the community center soon became a symbol of resilience and solidarity. Every effort, every brick laid, represented not just a physical structure, but also the rebuilding of hopes and dreams. On the day of the reopening, the community gathered to celebrate. The young man and Anna were exhausted but filled with pride and satisfaction. As they watched the children playing and the families gathering, the young man's father approached with a sincere smile. "I am very proud of both of you," he said, hugging his son and Anna. "You turned a disaster into an opportunity for growth and unity." The young man looked at Anna, feeling a wave of gratitude and love. "We couldn't have done it without you," he said softly. Anna smiled, squeezing his hand. "We did this together." And so, amidst laughter and celebrations, the young man realized he had found not only a purpose, but also a life partner. The community center, now stronger than ever, was a testament to their shared journey and the strength they found in each other. The young man was sitting in the living room, looking out the window as the rain poured down heavily. He reflected on everything that had happened in recent months: the initial punishment, the discovery of Anna, and all the transformations that had occurred. His thoughts were interrupted by the sound of soft footsteps. Anna entered the room, bringing a cup of hot tea and a comforting smile. "I was thinking about everything we've been through," he said, taking the cup. "Who would have thought a punishment could change our lives so much?" Anna sat next to him, placing a gentle hand on his shoulder. "Life has curious ways of teaching us valuable lessons," she replied, her voice soft and full of wisdom. "And sometimes it's the hardest experiences that show us what we're truly capable of." Suddenly, the father entered the room, looking serious but with a sparkle in his eyes. "Son, we need to talk," he said, sitting down in front of them. The young man felt a pang of nervousness, but also of expectation. "Since I imposed that punishment, I've seen an incredible change in you. But there's something you don't know about this decision." The father paused, searching for the right words. "I met Anna before all this. I knew her story and her potential. I wanted you to see beyond appearances, and I'm glad you did." The young man was surprised, processing his father's words. "So, all this was planned?" he asked, looking at Anna, who also seemed intrigued. "Yes," said the father, But what I didn't plan for was how much you both would transform. What started as a lesson became a journey of growth for all of us. I am proud of you, son, and of you, Anna, for showing so much strength and dignity. Anna smiled, emotional, and looked at the young man. We both learned a lot, she said, holding his hand, and it all led us to this moment. The young man squeezed her hand, feeling a deep connection and gratitude. Thank you, Dad, he said, his voice filled with emotion. You gave us more than a lesson. You gave us a new life. The father smiled, standing up to embrace them. You both deserve all the happiness in the world, and together, I know you'll achieve incredible things. As the rain continued to fall outside, the small family felt a renewed sense of hope and unity. The young man, now a complete and transformed person, knew that with Anna by his side and his father's support, he could face any challenge life threw at them. And so, what began as a punishment turned out to be the greatest blessing of all, uniting hearts and forging a bright future. The day dawned with a clear blue sky, a promise of a new beginning. The family home was filled with laughter and animated voices as friends and relatives arrived for the grand celebration. It was the day of the young man and Anna's wedding, an event symbolizing not just their union, but also the transformative journey they had both experienced. The garden was decorated with colorful flowers, and soft live music filled the air with a magical atmosphere. Anna was in a room, surrounded by friends helping her get ready. She wore a simple yet elegant dress that highlighted her natural beauty. As she looked in the mirror, her mind wandered back to the difficult days on the streets, and she felt a wave of emotion. The door opened, and the young man's father entered, a proud smile on his face. You look stunning, Anna, he said, holding back tears. And more than that, you are the strongest and bravest person I have ever met. In the garden, the young man waited anxiously, nervously adjusting his collar. He looked at his father, who stood beside him, and smiled. I never thought this moment would come, he said, his voice full of emotion. But I am so happy everything happened the way it did. The father nodded, placing a hand on his son's shoulder. You have grown so much, and it's all thanks to Anna and the journey you both shared. I am incredibly proud of you. Finally, the music changed, and Anna appeared at the beginning of the aisle, holding a small bouquet of wildflowers. Each step she took seemed to echo the journey that brought her here. The guests stood up, and the young man felt his heart race as he watched her approach. When she reached the altar, he took her hands, his eyes shining with tears. You are everything to me, he said softly, and today we begin a new life together. The celebrant began the ceremony, his words echoing the depth of the love and transformation that Anna and the young man had experienced. When it came time for the vows, both spoke from the heart, promising love, respect, and mutual support. In the end, the celebrant declared them husband and wife, and the young man kissed Anna with a passion and tenderness that made all the guests applaud emotionally. As the guests congratulated them, the young man and Anna stepped aside, observing the celebration. We did it, he said, pulling her into a tight embrace. Yes, we did, she replied with a radiant smile. And this is just the beginning. Together, they knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them hand in hand, turning every obstacle into an opportunity to grow and love even more. And so, surrounded by love and hope, the young man and Anna began the next chapter of their incredible story. Anna and the young man's wedding had been a milestone of transformation in their lives, but the challenges were far from over. With the community center renovated and the family business on a new trajectory, both dedicated themselves to expanding their social projects. On a sunny morning, they met in the company office to discuss the next steps. The environment was filled with positive energy and determination. We have to think about ways to take our projects to other communities, said the young man, spreading maps on the table. Anna, beside him, analyzed the areas with a critical eye. We need to ensure each center has sufficient resources and a well-trained team. We can't leave anyone behind, she responded, her voice full of passion. Together, they began to outline a detailed plan for expansion. As they worked, the young man's father entered the room, bringing exciting news. We received a substantial donation from a group of businessmen inspired by our work, he announced with a proud smile. The news filled the room with enthusiasm. This means we can start building new centers immediately, said the young man, feeling a wave of gratitude. Anna nodded, her eyes shining with happiness. We are making a difference, and this is just the beginning. In the following months, Anna and the young man's hard work began to bear fruit. New community centers emerged in various regions, each offering education, food, and support to needy families. The community's response was overwhelmingly positive, and stories of transformed lives began to spread. On a visit to one of the new centers, Anna and the young man were welcomed with flowers and applause, a living testimony to the impact of their work. One day, as they walked through one of the centers, they observed the children playing and the families gathering. "Look at all this," said the young man, stopping for a moment to absorb the scene. "It all started with a punishment, but look where we are now." Anna held his hand, her heart overflowing with pride and love. "Yes, and I couldn't be happier. We've transformed our lives and the lives of so many others." As the sun set, painting the sky with shades of orange and pink, the young man and Anna felt more connected than ever. They knew that regardless of future challenges, they would face everything together. "We are just getting started," he said with a smile. "There is still much more to do." Anna agreed, her gaze fixed on the horizon. "And we will do it together, as always." And so, with hearts full of hope and determination, they moved forward, ready to write the next chapters of their incredible story of love and transformation. Years passed, and the impact of Anna and the young man's work spread throughout the country. They were in a crowded auditorium, about to receive a national award for community service. The young man stepped onto the stage beside Anna, his eyes shining with emotion as he held the award. "This recognition is not just for us, but for all the people who believed in our dream and helped us make it a reality," he said, his voice firm. Anna, with a radiant smile, took the microphone. "What started as a personal challenge became a life mission. We learned that together we can overcome any obstacle and create a better world." The applause echoed through the auditorium, and they embraced, feeling the weight and joy of the legacy they had built together. The journey that began as a punishment had transformed into a story of love, resilience, and lasting change. If this story inspired you, imagine what else is waiting for you. Don't miss out. Hit the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and explore more powerful stories on our channel. Your next favorite video could be just a click away.